It's the day after the weekend that the US, our closest ally, went to war with Iran, our biggest enemy, to take out the Ayatollah and rid the planet of the biggest terrorist threat. Did the UK Prime Minister offer any help? Did he buggery? Was the fact that Keir Starmer, our Prime Minister, refused to help Donald Trump in the key early moments of this war with Iran the darkest hour of the special relationship? So, as we all know by now, the USA and Israel are at war with Iran, starting on Saturday morning, strategically targeting specific sites where they managed to take out the Ayatollah and his top team. However, this has not stopped Iran from retaliating. They have attacked tens of countries. They have attacked the UAE countries. They have attacked Middle Eastern countries. And via Lebanon and Hezbollah, they have attacked Cyprus using drones, where there is a British Air Force base. And that is very interesting because Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, at the very start of this war was neither involved or granted permission to the US, our closest ally, the use of UK air bases, which undoubtedly could have helped our closest ally defeat our biggest enemy. Of course, with the Ayatollah gone, it is not the end of the Iranian regime, and much more will have to be done in order for the US in Israel to defeat and win this war. But the question is, why is our UK Prime Minister not involved? Why is he refusing to help? Why is he refusing to back Donald Trump? Is this politics at play? There is no time for politics to be at play. We are at war, and we now have a human rights lawyer in charge of the UK, and it has undoubtedly weakened our relationship, not just with the US, not just with Israel, but with the rest of the world. The UK have been incredibly slow to join the fight. They have now, under much pressure from Donald Trump, allowed access to some UK Air Force bases, including the base on the Chagos Islands, of all places. But why does this human rights lawyer who sits on the fence, cannot make a decision, and would rather support the Muslim community within the UK than defend the UK from the Islamist terrorists that are funded by the Iranian regime? Keir Starmer is a weak man. We know this. He's indecisive, he sits on the fence, and when he does put his foot down 3 days later, he does a U-turn. And he's done exactly the same with this situation. He has hidden every step of the way behind international law, or in domestic situations, human rights law. Now, of course, there is a place for human rights and human rights law, but it does not absolve you of responsibility for Britain if you are the British Prime Minister. And this is exactly what Keir Starmer is doing. He has literally stood up and said that you will only be protected as a British citizen if it is compliant with international law. So you better hope that if you find yourself in a sticky situation at home or abroad, that Keir Starmer believes it's in some way compliant with international law. Otherwise, you may not get help. And don't fool yourself to think that what's going on in Dubai is being helped by Keir Starmer. It's not. Everything is being managed by the Emirates government. Everything. And they are doing a superb job. Keir Starmer has said that he will support the US, but only in a defensive way. He has created, alongside Macron and the German dude, the E3, which is Germany, France, and the United Kingdom, who have all come together to show the world just how weak they are. Donald Trump has come out today in a Telegraph interview and said he is very disappointed in the way that Keir Starmer has behaved, as we all are, and if you're not, you should be. This is a time for strong people, strong men, strong wills. There are people losing their lives so you can protest against them. It's little wonder, therefore, that something like the Iranian regime has been able to spend 50 years building and funding tens of terrorist groups throughout the Middle East that are attacking Western values. Their whole premise is death to the US, death to the UK, death to Christianity, and death to Western values. This isn't a free speech issue. This is a staying alive issue. These people are not interested in staying alive. They are seeking martyrdom, and they don't care if you stay alive. Meanwhile, here in batshit bonkers Britain, as Katie Hopkins would say, we are looking at this and wondering, why are people so upset? Why would anyone want to attack Iran? We are literally, it's like the end of the Roman Empire in the West at the moment. We have become so decadent that we don't care for gender. We don't care for anything other than feelings, and only the feelings that suit the people that set the agenda. You can have a penis, you can have a vagina, you can have both, you can have tits on your forehead, you can have whatever you like. But you've got to vote Greens, you've got to vote the Labour, you've got to like the Muslims. And if an Islamist blows up kids in an arena, you've got to support them, you've got to come together, and you've got to blame the people that noticed. This is the world we live in now. This is not the world that people inhabited a generation before us, 2 generations before us, where they had values, they had culture, and they knew what they wanted to protect. Even if they didn't like their neighbour, they knew their neighbours shared their culture, shared their values, and they would stand up for them. 14-year-old boys would go to war, fake their date of birth, and fight for you to be a prick. That is exactly the type of culture that is now dead. It is not fun, war. It is not something that people enter lightly. Donald Trump is not doing this because he wants to make millions and billions out of oil. Yes, that could be a side effect of what happens. But trust me, and you don't have to trust me, but look at what's happening. Look at the people that are noticing. Every single attack that happens now, if the guy has got brown skin and is carrying a knife, you'll never know that he's got brown skin, and they'll tell you it's not a terrorist attack. Every single one of these attacks, the rapes, the killings, the stabbings, they're all as a result of allowing things like the Iranian regime to flourish because we are kind and caring. It is not for the faint-hearted, this stuff, but we do need to stand by the US. Ed Davey, Polanski, Keir Starmer, you can all fuck off. There is no place for you in war. There is no place for you when hard times come. You must stand aside. Enough is enough. We need to support Donald Trump. We need to protect the British Isles, and we need to protect our interests abroad, and we need to protect our British citizens abroad. Unbelievable to have to say these things out loud and not just come across as a patriot. And a patriot, by the way, who would be labelled as a far-right bigot for saying any one of these things on any mainstream outlet. I'm tired. I'm not tired because I've been up all night talking about what's going on in Iran. I'm tired that people do not seem to understand that it's their lives that we're trying to protect. Not me. I'm a 46-year-old man. I'm not going anywhere, am I? I'm not going anywhere, but we need to support our armed services. We need to support our allies. Look at the US. Look at how powerful they are. Who are you siding with? Who the fuck is the E3? The E3. Germany, France and the United Kingdom. Talk about the biggest gathering of wet flannels you have ever seen. Oh, we don't believe in war. We believe in the international law. Well, international law is going to get you dead. We've got to support the US. If we can, provide them with all the help we have. Our military must be pulling their hair out. Like moments before, the airbase in Cyprus was attacked by Hezbollah from missiles from Lebanon, funded by the Iranian regime. Our Prime Minister said we're not getting involved in an offensive capacity, only in a defensive capacity. He essentially invited them to bomb us. It is not a coincidence they did it at the time that they did it, and this will continue. We are not safe if we have a Labour government. We are not safe if we have a Green or Liberal government. This is a time for strong-minded people who aren't afraid to stand up for what they believe in. We can be isolationist if you like. We can pull up the drawbridge, build a wall, kick everybody out and stay put. It will look like medieval Britain if we do that. And of course, many people would be happy with that. For me though, however, I think we have a responsibility and a job to play. It's not going away. It doesn't matter how high you build the wall. They'll still get in. There's a channel between us and mainland Europe. And they come in day after day, hundreds of them. If the sun is shining, you'll get 600, 700, 1,000 of them. That will still happen. Now I know that war brings more refugees. And that 3 minutes from now, 3 years from now, 30 years from now, they'll still be coming if we do nothing about it. But it doesn't need to be that way. What are our British values? What do we believe in? What do we want to protect? Who are our friends? Who knows what happens now? But what I do know is we're made of better stuff than what Keir Starmer is showing us to be. This is not good enough. He's weak. He's weak-minded. He's weak-bodied. He's weak. I'll wait to see what happens next. I'm sure we'll all be incredibly disappointed. Well, if you like this content, please subscribe. Please like, please share. Join me on this journey. I'm going to create as much content as I possibly can. Perhaps I speak for you. Perhaps I don't. Let me know in the comments. Until next time, keep it real.